All right, welcome to Beyond the Forecast, our weekly weather show that dives into our local climate, our local weather forecast, and we describe some interesting things about weather and climate issues, not only here, but locally and nationally and internationally, if we will. And we'd love to do it a couple days a week. Really getting the show geared up for the fall and winter season when we really get to dive into the forecasts of winter weather and snow, and that's my favorite time of the year, favorite topic, which will be interesting to do this winter because this winter looks to be active, but maybe not all that cold. More on that later. That's our we've got months to figure out the winter weather forecast. But first, I want to talk a couple things. We're going to spend the next few minutes talking about our local forecast into the weekend. Then we're going to talk about some tropical weather activity in the Gulf of Mexico and also in the Pacific Ocean. We're going to talk about wildfire smoke and how it may return. And we're going to talk about the lake breeze and how it can trigger thunderstorms, and in some cases on a daily basis. It's a unique little feature that really can focus thunderstorm activity in a certain spot during the summer months almost daily. So more on that coming up. It's kind of interesting stuff. All right, let's take a look and show you what's going on currently. And temperatures, as you can see, have that a little trashy in there. We've got temperatures that are mild. Look at this. Here it is, late July, and we could easily be on the hot side of things, but we are pleasantly in the 70s. 75 in Buffalo, Pittsburgh as well, kind of a common temperature out there. Syracuse at 77, 80 degrees in New York City. Right now, we're looking at a sunny, although a little hazy out there. More on that coming up. Sunny and warm for today. Temperatures right around, I would say 80 degrees or so. Tomorrow, a little bit more moisture sneaks in, and there could be a few extra clouds and maybe a little isolated shower in the hills of the southern tier. Otherwise, it looks like a fine day for your Saturday. On Sunday, even a bit more moisture, and that could lead to a few isolated thunder showers that pop up in the afternoon, and they'll be very uneven, widely scattered, but there could be a couple on Sunday. All the while, temperatures will be in the 80s for the next couple of days. We haven't been there in a while. 80 today, 82 to 83 tomorrow, and then on Sunday, again, there's room for a late day shower with a temperature into the low 80s. And overnight lows in the 60s as opposed to the 50s. We were in the 50s the last couple of mornings. It's been very comfortable overnight, and it looks like it's going to we're going to warm up a little bit at night as well as in the afternoon. All right, 75 in Buffalo, as you saw, Medina, 70 in Ellicottville, Wellsville's at 71. Lake Erie and Lake Ontario both have a similar temperature of about 73 to 74 degrees. Yeah, Lake Ontario is kind of warmed up pretty nicely. You get a little wind event, and that'll flip over, and we'll see colder temperatures on Lake Ontario soon enough. But right now, it is clear, and we zoom things out to see if anything's coming our way. This cold front down here, which is bringing some rain to the Cape off North Carolina, Cape Hatteras, and down through parts of coastal Carolina. This is the front that moved through here the other day and brought some of those cooler temperatures. It's kind of hung up there, bringing some rain to the coast. Also some scattered showers in Missouri. Other than that, it's high and dry and going to be getting really, really hot across the west. The 105 to 110, a common number in the desert southwest in the coming days. Okay, Lake Ontario and Lake Erie now at 73 degrees. Waves of about a foot. It's been choppy this week. We've had a couple of choppy days, so it'll be nice to see calmer waters. So if you're going to be out on the boat, southwest winds 5 to 10 on Lake Ontario, southeast breeze, Lake Erie with a 5 to 10 knot breeze and a wave, foot or less. Okay, so future look does show the dry skies today. No clouds at all really to speak of. Tonight, mainly clear. And then for your day tomorrow, watch how a little moisture kind of leaks into the southern tier. And there may be just enough that a quick little pop-up shower may develop along the lake breeze. And we'll get more into that in a second. But notice where those showers are, and it looks like there'll be, again, just one or two of them in the southern tier. 95% of us will stay dry tomorrow. Then as we head into Sunday, there's even a bit more moisture sneaking in, and that will allow, see that, a couple of showers to develop Nothing widespread whatsoever, but again, a few showers for Sunday afternoon. I think there will be a better chance of showers and thunderstorms early next week. Later, I would say Monday into Tuesday, okay? And also next week, temperatures will be very comfortable. July started out so warm and dry. You know, up until Tuesday, there had only been 0.08 of an inch of rain in Buffalo for the entire month. We got about an inch on Tuesday, but still well below normal. And almost every day for the first 20 days of July were above normal, I think except for 1 or 2. But since then, we've been at or below normal, and we might be in that kind of range next week. You can see Sunday night things kind of calm down. So high temperatures today with hazy sunshine, temperatures into the upper 70s to low 80s, okay? For tomorrow, more of a light southerly breeze, temperatures once again, low 80s it appears. Notice the southern tier, that's where there's a chance of a shower or a thunder shower. A better chance though on Sunday, but even that isn't a huge chance. There will be a bit more cloud cover around with that chance of a shower, and temperatures once again in the 80s. All right, what about humidity? How's it going to feel? Well, humidity levels, which have been very low in the last couple of days, are going to, have a tick up, it looks like, starting tomorrow, Sunday, Monday. Not bad, but it will be a little more in the way of humid feel. Remember, 2 weeks ago, that's when we were in the oppressive, almost tropical zone. So it's going to be, typical summer warmth. And it won't even be that warm as warm as it could be as we head into next week. In fact, here's a look at the long range, the 6 to 10 day forecast. This is where we see things going the middle of next week through the following weekend, which is the first weekend of August 1st and 2nd, next Saturday and Sunday. Lots of hot weather out west, and we get a big bubble of high pressure here. You often get a corresponding pool of cooler air downwind, and that'll be the case, it looks like, next week, where temperatures for the eastern lakes and much of the east will trend at or below average. And if average right now is 78, 79 degrees, you get the idea. Next week is going to feature temperatures generally in the 70s for the last week of July. That's pretty good stuff. That's very, very comfortable. So for today, sunny skies, a high of about 80, which is very close to average, a light breeze. For tonight, clear skies, 64 degrees with a light breeze. And then for your day tomorrow, Saturday, the weather looks pretty good. We'll call it partly cloudy with a temperature of about 82 to 83 degrees. Okay, 7-day forecast, our 2 zones, Erie, Niagara County, and the southern tier, full sunshine today. Tomorrow, again, there's a chance of an isolated shower for the southern tier tomorrow. Elsewhere, just partly cloudy skies. Both zones have a chance of a shower or an isolated thunder shower on Sunday. Monday, a more vigorous system moves in. That could spell a period of some scattered thunderstorms, some of which could be on the stronger side. That would be later Monday. And then showers on Tuesday with temperatures falling back into the 70s. And then Wednesday and Thursday of next week, temperatures, notice, only in the 70s, and it should be dry. All right, coming up next, we're going to talk hurricanes, smoke, and the lake breeze here locally. That's coming up. All right, we are looking here at the remnants or the aftermath of Bertha. The second tropical weather system of the season moved through the Gulf of Mexico, and it brought rain to the panhandle of Florida, as well as parts of Louisiana and into Texas. Some riptides a factor as well. The good news is this tropical storm didn't get too terribly strong. It never became a hurricane, and most of the rain stayed over the Gulf. Although it certainly was threatening for a while as it moved right near New Orleans, but the center of the storm, again, stayed offshore, and so did most of the rain. So we're really waiting still for tropical weather to kick in. As we've been telling you here, it is very likely that it will be a quiet tropical weather season in the Gulf and in the Caribbean and out in the Atlantic because such a strong El Nino has developed. That tends to kind of put a kibosh on major hurricanes or the number of hurricanes that will form out here. Doesn't mean there won't be a couple of big ones. There certainly could be. But when all is said and done, it should be relatively quiet. Now, here is Bertha, the remnants, now crossing into Sonora, Mexico, the mountains of Mexico, kind of tearing this thing apart, and it's going to fizzle and die off. Sometimes these tropical systems do cross Mexico and then reform in the Western Pacific, or in the Eastern Pacific, rather, but this will not be the case with that. But here's what's interesting. With this developing El Nino, okay, we're going to see warmer temperatures in the Pacific, and that will aid in the formation of numerous Pacific systems. The latest one we're watching is a Hurricane Fausto that is developing and in the Pacific. This one here has faded and is going to head close to Hawaii, may bring some larger swells there. But we think, as opposed to the Atlantic being quiet, we think the Pacific will be very active with hurricane activity. And what's interesting is that not only do you have the strong El Nino that'll kind of help hurricanes develop in the Pacific, some of that warm water has extended even farther to the north through the Baja and even into Southern California. As you probably know, sometimes hurricanes do travel towards California, but they run into cold ocean temperatures and they always fizzle before they really get close enough to Southern California. This year could be a little different. If temperatures are warmer, you could get a tropical system to sustain itself a little farther to the north, and maybe there could be an impact into Southern California. All right, let's take a look and show you, again, the remnants of Bertha.
Severe weather being felt in multiple states, like North Carolina, where heavy rain turned sidewalks into streams and caused this car to spin out on the side of a road. Parts of the state soaked by more than half a foot of rain.
Got my little river running down here by the barn.
The storm also toppling massive trees across roadways and into homes, even knocking down power lines. Crews working quickly to clear debris and restore electricity. While the Gulf Coast has been largely spared from Bertha, some residents in Texas are still preparing to hunker down.
I am getting ready to go to the grocery store, and I'm getting ready to load up on water and whatever I'm gonna need for the next couple of days.
With some minor coastal flooding and rip currents possible along the immediate coast in the coming days. Other parts of the country still cleaning up from relentless rain and flooding earlier this week, including devastating scenes of destruction in West Virginia. The governor there announcing at least 2 storm-related deaths, with search and rescue operations ongoing. Recovery may take time, and with drier weather ahead, the region is getting a desperately needed breather.
Yeah, there you go, the remnants of Bertha. And as I mentioned, there's the developing El Nino. And again, it will aid in further development of bigger storms out here in the Pacific. Okay, on the other spectrum, we have fires that we've been tracking. Of course, we all remember the smoke that took place, that moved over our region last week with those southern Canada and Ontario wildfires, also in northern Minnesota. Believe it or not, there was some decent rains that fell on those fires earlier this week, and that has actually put a little kibosh on those fires. They're probably still burning, but again, not as much smoke. However, farther out to the west, this is where we're seeing numerous fires in Oregon, okay? And some of the haze that you see out there now is smoke from some of these central and eastern Oregon wildfires that is traversing all the way across the northern plains and here into the lakes, okay? Let's take a look at the forecast for smoke. It does look like it's going to make a return to some degree, potentially Sunday into next week. There is the, see these oranges here? This is the thicker smoke that looks to traverse the area. And notice here it is Sunday, and we're beginning to see some of that smoke arc into the Great Lakes and then potentially here into western New York. So it doesn't look as thick, it doesn't look as problematic as the smoke from last week. Okay, I'm gonna stop this once more. I wanna take you through this once again here. We're now going to talk about the lake breeze. Okay, you often hear us mention wind off the lake can cause a lake shadow in the summertime, and sometimes it can cause obviously enhanced snow in the wintertime. Another thing, let me advance it here. The other thing that, sorry about that, let's get to it. The other thing that it can do is help generate thunder showers in the summer season, okay? We call this area, an area of highlighted thunderstorm activity, a lake breeze boundary, okay? And what is that, okay? This is a look at the Lake Erie. There's Buffalo, of course, and here is the eastern shore, or the southern shore, rather. Oftentimes, you get a breeze off the lake almost daily, and that breeze moves some of the cooler temperatures from the cooler lake waters over land, okay? And that can sometimes shield thunderstorm chances because it kind of taps out the energy of the lower atmosphere, stabilizes it, and thunderstorms often fall apart. The other thing that this lake breeze does is that it takes that cooler air over Lake Erie and moves it inland. And once it moves, let's say, between 3 and 8 miles inland, maybe a little more in spots, it runs into the air mass that is further inland. That is a lot more, it's a lot warmer and more humid, and actually can be an area that's a little more conducive to thunderstorms. Here's the thing. Where this cool air runs into this area of warmer air, you actually get a little bit of a front, okay? We call this the lake breeze boundary. So right where that collision of cooler air from the lake runs into warmer, more humid air inland, okay? And with a little help with the added elevation of the Chautauqua Ridge and the hills of southern Erie County, you can often get thunder showers that form. And as an area that sees them quite often and sometimes daily in certain weather patterns, places like Concord and Springville, Gowanda, Perrysburg, okay, those areas, Ashford, can see thunder showers develop, and they quickly race to the east, okay? They often avoid the lakeshore, so it'll stay dry in Buffalo to Hamburg, maybe down to Eden and Dunkirk, but just inland, Cassadaga, up towards, I would say, let's say Cherry Creek and those areas, higher elevations, Sardinia, Holland, those areas could see some thunder showers. So that's what we call the lake breeze front, or the lake breeze boundary. Okay, there's another, and by the way, here is a look at the forecast for Saturday into Sunday. I don't know if you noticed, but there were a couple of showers developing along that lake breeze. That could occur maybe tomorrow, but a better chance of that occurring on Sunday, okay? So we'll watch for that. Again, this is an area that, you sometimes see it. You can be in Buffalo and you look off to the south and to the east, and you'll see huge towering cumulus clouds over the hills, although it's completely sunny, again, from Blaisdell to Lakeshore down towards Angola and Irving. So that's the process of that cloud formation and the thunderstorm formation as well. So that's something kind of interesting. Now, there's another location that gets this kind of boundary, and we've seen this quite a bit. Earlier this week, it happened on last Tuesday, and again last Saturday, and then this Tuesday, I should say, where the collision of wind from Lake Ontario runs into a wind from Lake Erie, okay? Where those two lake breezes meet, you get thunderstorms developing. So you can often get a lake breeze boundary, if you will, from Niagara Falls to Lockport and then over towards Albion, basically very close to or just south of the escarpment, okay? And if you've noticed, over the last couple of thunderstorm days, we had copious amounts of rain here in Niagara County, and very little fell in central and southern Erie County because of that boundary that's set up from the wind coming off Lake Ontario and Lake Erie. Speaking of Lake Ontario, I mentioned earlier that it is 73 degrees, so is Lake Erie. Lake Ontario, as you know, is a much deeper lake, so if you get a stiff breeze, okay, that warm temperature that Lake Ontario is experiencing now, the water will flip, upwelling will occur, and colder temperatures at depth will come to the surface, and that's when Lake Ontario can drop into the 40s and 50s, even in the summertime. Okay, there we go. All right, thank you for watching. We'll be right back after this short break and wrap things up. All right, we are gonna also have this show serve as your El Nino headquarters as we get deeper into the summer season, fall and winter season. We've been talking about it on Beyond the Forecast. We've been talking about it on the air and online. A major El Nino is unfolding currently, and it will likely have a significant impact potentially on our winter weather. Okay, this is a look at some of the past large El Ninos, okay, 2023-24, 2015 and 16. Those were the last two big ones. If you recall, those two winter seasons did feature well below normal snowfall, okay, particularly because it tended to be a somewhat warmer winter, okay? Then you had the El Nino of 97, 98, okay? That was another super El Nino. That also featured low snow that subsequent winter here in Western New York. And then you had 82, 83, which was another large one, and that also produced low snowfall. Having said that, okay, that's based on the idea that it's going to be hard to get a lot of cold air this winter season. We will have bouts of cold weather. We will have snow. We will have lake effect snow. But when all is said and done, it may tend to be a warmer winter than average. There are examples, however, of strong El Ninos bringing heavier snow to Western New York. So it can't be ruled out, okay? That was 1957-58. And then 1965-66, I believe it was. Those two winters had stronger El Ninos and a bounty of snow. But looking deeper into the record, stronger El Ninos tend to have warmer winters. So this is something we're certainly going to be watching. All right, one final note. Of course, we have the Italian Heritage Festival that begins today, runs through the weekend. Temperatures very comfortable today, near 80 degrees. And 80s through the weekend. Thanks for watching. We'll be back on Monday.